You're listening to the Poo Podcast. My name is Dosta. Here we discuss all things poo. Please do subscribe and comment. And now, I present to you Episode 2 from Season 1 on the Poo Podcast. Many years ago, I would attend the National Folk Festival in Canberra, Australia. It's a yearly event that happens around Easter. And normally folk music isn't so much my thing, but this particular festival I have a soft spot for because, well, there's also poetry, there's jugglers, there's street performers, as well as folk music and hippies and strange foods and all the rest of it. And you do run into a number of weird characters, and as is the case with perhaps every festival, you do have these awkward moments when you're going days on end with a very different life cycle as to what you're used to. So at this National Folk Festival one time, I was, doing what you do at the bathroom. I was doing a poo in one of the cubicles, and someone came into the cubicle next to me, and I could hear them sit down, sort of get started, and usually I'm quite embarrassed by this. I'm sort of like, okay, I need to hurry up, finish up, and get out of here. I don't really like to be around when I'm doing my poos, and anyone else to be around at all when I'm doing my poos. It's just how I feel. I mean, it is just a part of nature, right? It is just something that we do, but particularly, it is what it is. But this time, this guy came into the cubicle next to me, and he says, "How's it going?" And of course I think, this is a very open festival. He must be a hippie. And the hippie side of me thought, we all poo. We're all here for fun. We're all here for meeting new people, right? Festival vibes. So I said, okay. And he said, "You enjoying the festival, are ya? Having a good time?" And I sort of mumbled and said, yeah, okay. And he said, "How are the kids?" And I paused for a moment. I thought, I don't have kids, so why would he be asking me that? And I thought, I'll just go with it. And I thought, the kids are all right, because of course there is this old joke that says, when you go to the toilet, you're dropping the kids off at the pool. And I thought, maybe that's what he's referring to. He's asking me about my poo. And he says, "Hang on a second, I'm just in the middle of something." And it's at this point, of course, I realize, how could I have not realized this sooner? He's on the phone and he's talking to someone else. And I thought, he's obviously listening to the person on the other end, and I'm just responding not very much loud enough that he's caught on, or he's just heard me and tried to ignore me until I've caught on that he's on the phone and he's not talking to me. And of course I feel so stupid because it's common etiquette that you don't talk to people while you're in the cubicle next to them. Let them do their business. It's quite rude. If you want to meet someone, meet them outside of the business area, please. So by the time I figure this out, I go quiet and he says, "Hang on a second, I'm just on the loo and I'm finishing up." And then I start to hear him plopping, which only makes it even more awkward. And I'm thinking, this poor person on the other end of the phone. And then he says, "Hang on a second, I'll talk to you a bit later." And I think, all right, that must be the end of the conversation. That must be the end of this awkward interaction. I'll just wait here. I'll just wait. He's finished. He's going to get up and he's going to leave. And I will just wait until he does that. And I won't have to see him or do anything or have any awkward misunderstanding and it will just be, if it could just be over with. But then there's quiet from his cubicle. And he says, "Did you hear that?" And I think, well, is he talking to me? Because the phone call's finished, right? He hung up just to finish up his business. So I didn't answer. I'd already realized that, well, actually I shouldn't get myself into any more deeper than I need to. But then he says again, hey, did you hear that? And of course, I didn't really even hear anything anyway. I didn't want to say that, oh yes, I can hear your plopping. I can hear your poo going into the toilet and I can hear that you are having a conversation. I didn't want to say any of that, even though I was thinking it. And then finally, his toilet flushes. And I hear him finish up, go out the door, wash his hands, and the whole thing was over. What a relief. I didn't have to see him. So I wiped my ass, I flushed my toilet, and I opened the door to go and wash my hands and get the hell out of there. And there he is standing, sending a text message on his phone. And he looks at me, and I look at him, and I wonder, what can I do in this situation? What should I say? So I said to him, "Did you hear that?" And he sort of looked at me and said, "Well, normally people don't have these sorts of discussions about poo." And I said, "Well, you're the guy that's on the phone while you're doing a poo." And of course, I didn't really say that. I was just thinking that. I just wanted to get the hell out of there. And in the end, it was just an awkward look from him. And of course, I've thought again and again of like how many different ways in which that scenario could have played out and how many different ways of what I should have said and how I could have resolved it. And I just wished he had have walked out. If only he had walked out, then I would never have had that awkward moment. I would never have had to have thought up, well, what was it that I could have said in that situation? And I guess I could have called him out and said, well, normally you don't start conversations when you're doing a poo, whether they are either on the phone or with the person in the cubicle next to you. And of course, the problem with saying that is, well, why did you talk back? So, if anything comes from the moral of this story, it is, please do your business in silence. And if you have to make a phone call, don't do it while you're doing a poo. And that is my public service announcement for today. Thanks very much. This has been the Poo Podcast, and we will be back again with another episode very soon. Bye for now.